Hello and welcome to the week 10, right?
It
Yes,
is
week
week
10
10.
edition Gem City Gridiron Roundup podcast. As always, I'm your host who has no clue what episode this is. Dalton Van Pelt Scotch on the sidelines. With me, as always, drinking his coffee, sipping it slowly, is the commish.
Yeah, an 8 a.m. Podcast on a Tuesday morning based on schedule changes. Yeah, a little coffee instead of whiskey. Um, but yeah, it's good. A little bit more awake and should be fun to recap this week. A very fun week. A lot of good games. A lot of high scoring players again. Um, yeah, let's jump right into it.
All right, Thursday night, we had the Panthers in some really sick uniforms. It's just amazing what that black helmet will do to
Yeah, there was a
increase that.
rainstorm that game.
Was it?
Yeah, Donta Foreman. I mean, it wasn't like not grapple weather by any means, but
Oh,
it was still
yeah,
raining
watching
pretty
the highlight,
hard.
it didn't look like it was raining too hard. Deontay Foreman is just a monster. I just watched
31
his
carries, yeah, man. 31 carries for
where the hell did
130.
that come from?
I mean, he did it last year. I mean, when he filled in for Henry last year, like they didn't really skip a beat. Um, and like he's a big bruising guy, and then obviously they brought him in to back up McCaffrey, um, to be that kind of that not a 1-2 punch, but like they were using Foreman a little bit before McCaffrey got traded, and then when he did get traded, it was a split between Hubbard and Foreman, and then Hubbard went out, and then Foreman is just taken over, and they want to run the ball. Um, Definitely affected the receivers. Like I said, there was a little bit of rain. I think DJ Moore was the leading receiver, or no, I think Terrace Marshall had the most yards, but DJ Moore was the most highly targeted. But yeah, not a whole lot. PJ Walker did start again, but little forecast, he is not starting next week.
It
He
will be Baker.
It will be Baker with Sam Darnold being the backup. So quarterback roulette continues for Carolina, but expect them to still turn around and hand the ball off to Donta Foreman.
Not much for Atlanta. Their offense was kind of stymied, I guess. But Drake London did have a nice day.
Yeah, nice day for Drake London. He got back in the end zone for the first time since week 2 or 3. He's had a couple down games. It's just hard to read that offense. I mean, this was kind of the game environment that um, the Falcons could have just ran the ball, but they were not effective with it. They did throw it a decent amount, mainly to Drake London and Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, another dud, but you keep rolling him out there because he's getting 8 targets a game, and he's just got to pop off eventually. I mean, he's getting everything that you can ask for. Just Mariota's not giving him catchable targets. So
Speaking
that's
of
tough.
duds, Cordero Patterson with a very disappointing day.
Yeah, it was really weird. I mean, I could see why they held him back a little bit. It was his first game back the week before off of IR, short turnaround. Thought they could have competed, so they kind of split the carries 3 ways on the short week on the road. So I could see why they held it back a little bit, but just very interesting coaching decisions in Atlanta for being, in the playoff race for winning that division. It's just we're going to get a lot more Marcus Mariota. I would love to see Desmond Ritter at some point if the wheels go off, because he did throw the ball quite a bit at Cincinnati. So it'd be something to see if they end up out of the playoff mix. But for now, as they're battling for the division title, it's going to be Mariota for the foreseeable future.
He did have a nice last drive. I mean, besides the trying to throw an interception from his back,
Yeah.
that was a pretty funny clip. All right, moving on. The first game on Pro Football Reference is Bills Vikings.
Boom.
Vikings moved to 8-1. I heard this was a spectacular game. We
Game
caught
of the year.
overtime.
Game of the year by
Seems like
far.
that happens every week with the Bills.
Yeah, or the Dolphins, one of the two.
Josh
Um,
Allen throws a pick to seal it.
yep. Just a really bizarre end of the game. Obviously Josh Allen did play with the strained UCL. They kind of hid that all the way till game time. Um, but you kind of saw the writing on the wall when they didn't elevate a practice squad quarterback. I don't think they would just have him be the clear backup for injury. If he's healthy enough to be active, they're going to play him, and that was the case. And he didn't have a whole lot of hindrance. They didn't throw it as much as they normally did. They did run it a few more times with Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary does get in to the end zone twice, but the biggest story, I mean, Justin Jefferson and Stephon Diggs, just two of the best receivers in the NFL. Fun to watch them. Did you see Jefferson's catch?
Yes, it was all over Instagram.
All over. One-handed catch over Gilmore. I mean, no, Gilmore's not there anymore.
It was nasty.
Gilmore's in Indy, but yeah, just nasty if you haven't seen it. It was on the last drive of the game for Minnesota to get to try to take the lead, and then the bizarre situation where the Vikings get all the way down to the 1 yard line with just a few seconds to go. It's 4th down. They run a little play action. Dalvin Cook drops it, but it was offsides. So they got to rerun the play. Kirk Cousins tries to sneak it in from the half-inch line and does not get in. Good call. He did not get in from all the angles. He did not get in. And then so they proceed to turn the ball over. It's, the Bills now have the ball on their own half-inch yard line, and they need a QB sneak it out. And the quarterback center exchange fumbled, and Minnesota recovers it in the end zone. I thought they were going to call it like they recovered it outside the end zone. I thought they were going to have it tried again, but they recovered it in the end zone. Now Minnesota goes up. Now the Bills have the ball with 11 seconds to go again, and they march down the field in 11 seconds to kick a 50-yarder to tie the game to go to overtime now.
I got to watch the end of that game.
Oh, it was absolutely bonkers because, the Bills then got the ball back down 3, marched down the field in 5 or 6. It was more than 11 seconds. It might have been like 28.
So it says 41 was when the fumble was recovered.
So 41 seconds.
Still a ridiculously short
but then
time.
Yeah. And then Josh Allen goes down, dink, 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 and kick a field goal to go to overtime. And Minnesota goes down and they kick a field goal. They get possession first, kick a field goal, and then Josh Allen, they march down the field and he throws a pick in the red zone to seal it to Patrick Peterson. Super fun game to watch. Justin Jefferson and Diggs were just eating all day. But yeah, go back and watch the end of that game. That was on the edge of your seat.
Detroit picks up a win and they try to give it away at the end of the game. I actually was this my lock of the week? I really thought the Lions were going to win this one, and they did.
Your lock of the week was the Falcons,
which did not pay off. But you got your lock of the week finally.
Yep, plus 7.5 for Minnesota. Nice.
All right. That line had moved all the way to 3 by game time with Minnesota, I think.
Yeah, there was a lot of they didn't know about the Josh Allen stuff, so the line shifted immediately when they thought Josh Allen wasn't going to play. So it did shift down pretty quickly. So that would have been a good one to sprinkle right off the bat. I thought they were going to cover it anyway. Yeah, hit anyway. But Bears Lions, that was another fun game to watch.
Yeah, Justin Fields has the most rushing yards by a quarterback in a 2-game span in NFL history.
Yeah, back-to-back, like 160 yards. Wild.
Yep, Cole Kmet gets in the end zone 2 times.
Again.
It'll just happen from time to time.
That's 3 weeks in a row.
Oh, he had a 50-yard catch.
Yeah.
So of his 4 catches, 2 of them were for a touchdown. One of them was 50 yards, and he had 70.
He's had 5 touchdowns in 3 games. In his last 3 games.
I don't even know how Justin Fields got to 167 yards looking at the yardage totals, but whatever, man.
Yeah, he's getting all the points with his legs for fantasy. Another almost 40 burger. He's a locked and loaded quarterback 1 for a while.
Yeah, Claypool with 2 targets, 1 catch for 8 yards. That's the Bears offense. Let's see. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Matt Berry had him in his top 10 this week. 10 catches for 119 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And he also had 2 yards on the ground. Who cares?
Yeah, one of the biggest stories was, Justin Fields does throw a pick 6. And so that's definitely the difference in the game. The running backs for the Lions, it's kind of a three-way split right now, where Jamal Williams is getting about 50% of the work, and then Swift's getting about 30%, and Justin Jackson's getting like 20%. It's really weird. I'm not sure if they're worried that Swift isn't going to hold up or
That's got to be
what's
what
going
it
on.
is.
I
'Cause he's
mean,
been injured
there's
so much.
yeah, but he's off the practice report or off the injury report, so I don't get why you would still hold him back unless you think, it's still going to be a lost season. You don't want to put too much wear and tear on him. If you want to go wear and tear, you just hand the ball off 15 to 20 times to Jamal Williams and let him pound it in.
I mean, they did pay him to do exactly that, so might as well.
Exactly. He scored like 10 touchdowns this year.
I'm sure this was actually an entertaining game to watch too. I did not
Don't say
watch it.
Denver.
Oh no, I was talking about Detroit, Chicago.
Yeah, I
Another
would
entertaining game. A Mike McCarthy implosion. Packers 31, Cowboys 28.
I don't.
Very,
Yeah.
very disappointing.
I don't get how you don't kick the field goal on 4th and 4. Got a little too smart for his britches.
Tony Pollard shoulders the load. Has another nice day as Zeke was ruled out before the game. Actually, like only a few hours before the game, he was ruled out.
Yep.
It was a cold day in Green Bay, and CeeDee Lamb just tore apart Packers secondary. Dalton Schultz gets into the end zone as the Cowboys are going up 14 points. But obviously that wasn't enough. Christian Watson threw 4 catches for 3 touchdowns. He finally catches those deep balls. Finally, someone catches the ball for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he's on the wire. I want to see. I wonder what he's going to go for this week.
Yeah. I mean, if you believe in Watson, go get him. If you don't, don't.
Yeah,
that's simple. Let's see. Michael Gallup got some targets. Dak had 2 picks in this game.
it was essentially the CeeDee Lamb and Christian Watson show during that game, and then some coaching blunders from McCarthy. I know McCarthy wanted to beat them so bad, but I don't get the overtime calls. He did go for it on 4th down quite a bit in that game, so he stick with what he was doing. But I don't know. In overtime, I mean, you might as well take the points. I mean,
the Cowboys defense actually did very, very good, except for guarding Christian Watson on the deep ball. That was the only thing that killed him in this game.
Exactly.
I didn't even know Kansas City played this weekend. They beat the Jaguars 27-17.
You had that pick in our bets. You had Kansas City
9.5. Yeah, which hits. Okay, cool.
Yeah. That's your only win of the week, by the way.
ETN was a little bit bottled up. It wasn't the right game script for him. 22 targets between Christian Kirk and Zay Jones. Kirk does get into the end zone 2 times. That seems to be a theme lately. Isaiah Pacheco loses a fumble, but has 82 yards on the ground. So still not a good fantasy day, but that does point in the right direction for future.
He's a starter.
A bunch of wide receivers got in the end zone. Well, no, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers.
Yeah,
Pat just sprinkled the ball around.
He did. Big news was Juju got knocked out with a concussion. We'll see how long he's out. Probably a week or 2. That's kind of how concussions have been going this year. But yeah, Kadarius Toney. He gets in and he gets in the end zone, gets a couple rushes, does pretty well, especially after Juju goes out. It'd be interesting to see how he, as he learns that offense, how much more he's integrated into that playbook. And McCole Hardman was out as well, so that might have a factor as well. But yeah, Mahomes is just slinging it all over the place. They can't run the ball, so Pat Mahomes is just going to throw it everywhere.
Speaking of running the ball, Tua and the Fighting Dolphins shoved their offense down the throat of the Cleveland Browns. Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert with great days.
Mm-hmm.
Wilson with, I think he had 20 something. I don't know. Wilson might have taken Mostert's job a little bit, but I think both.
I think he's the 1A.
Yeah, he's the 1A and
60-40.
the 1B.
60-40.
Yeah, Tua with another excellent game, 25 for 32, 285 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Sprinkled it
Um,
around a little bit. It wasn't all it was pretty even across the board. Hill didn't get loose that much. Waddle didn't get loose. Trent Sherfield caught a touchdown. Um, yeah, just an overarching even day across the board for those playmakers.
it's almost like the Dolphins said, okay, for the last 3 or 4 weeks, we have force fed the ball to Waddle and Hill. That's what they're going to be gaming planning for. Let's run it down their throat.
Yeah, and the Browns are just bad.
Donovan People Jones is the number one now.
On the road.
Maybe. Yeah.
Have you looked
Nick,
at the home road splits for Amari
no.
Cooper? They're awful.
Is it? Is
Um,
it?
Amari Cooper at home is averaging like 18 points a game, and on the road he's averaging like 7. And
Well, I think they call
it's
that a
been the
trend.
inverse, and then it's been the inverse for Peoples Jones pretty much. But Peoples Jones has actually been playing pretty good. He's hit like 60 yards like each of the last like 5 games. So he's been pretty consistent. Not getting the touchdowns, but he's getting good targets and yardage. I did play him this week. I went for it.
Nick Chubb is the
Best running back in the league.
very good.
Very good.
Does fumble to hurt his point total a little bit. The Giants win a game that, man, is their schedule just cake? Because 7-2 New York Giants with Danny Dimes. No one would have seen that coming.
I mean, they finished last in their division, so they have a last place schedule. I mean, that's usually how it works in the NFL.
Darius Slayton with the huge bomb ball 54-yard touchdown. I'm assuming it was a touchdown.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's 54 yards.
Saquon Barkley gets
35 touches.
35. Yeah. They just ran it down.
36 touches.
They ran it
rushes.
down Houston's throat.
Dameon Pierce with another nice day. His yards per carry is really good. Brandon Cooks, he was found. He was located. He played.
Yeah. That's all
17 targets between he and Nico Collins. Collins does get in the end zone. The Texans are basically just going to roll Davis Mills out there the rest of the year and, restart their franchise again.
Yeah. Davis Mills is, I mean, I think, and right now we've seen a lot of these backup quarterbacks this year, but Davis Mills, like, he's going to be a career backup after they bring in the next guy, but he's okay. Like, he's going to be serviceable. He'll get you some wins occasionally. Depends on where he's at. But Jacoby Brissett's earned himself, the rest of his career. Like, he's done well enough where he's going to be a backup till he wants to not do it anymore. We're going to get to this game, but Taylor Heineke, he's a backup forever. Like, he's going to cut, like, he may earn a starting job at some point, just like how things go, but he's fiery. He's going to come in. Like, he was so jacked up last night.
Let's just cut straight to Monday night last night.
Yeah.
I didn't watch any of this game. You did, I'm assuming.
I just saw the fourth quarter, but
32-21 Commanders over the Eagles, although the Commanders are allegedly coming up for sale, so who knows, they might be renamed again.
Washington defense does score 2 touchdowns. That's a big
helps.
part of it. They scored 1 at the very end of the game, laterals. Devontae Smith lateraled back, fumbled. They took it up at the 5-yard line and scored, but like, that one's kind of like whatever. But Taylor Heineke
targeted the hell out of Terry McLaurin, like we told you guys when he was named the starter.
Yeah, but he's not a great thrower. He's just got that fiery passion and just doesn't care, and he's gonna take hits. He's gonna do whatever it takes to win. And teammates love that shit. I mean, they're gonna rally around him the entire time. What sealed the win was he was getting chased down for a sack, and he ended up just giving himself up and taking a knee, and takes a freaking shot in the chest after he's taken the knee, and they get called for roughing the passer. He gets up and just loses his mind, and so excited that he just got pummeled for roughing the passer. And then the next possession, the previous possession, Quez Watkins fumbles the ball in a deep shot, and they pick it up, and then the corner runs to the sideline, picks it up, and Heineke's just grabbing him by the jersey and just like going crazy. And so he's gonna be in the league for a long time. Fun to watch. Not a great football player, but he's just fun to watch.
3 fumbles for Eagles weapons.
Yeah, not great. Not a great game. 72 Dolphins. Congratulations. Pop the champagne. Enjoy it every year. Last one.
All right, moving on. Denver and the Titans. I saw this meme on NFL memes that it for $245 million less dollars, they could have kept Drew Lock and they would be like 7-2 right now, I guess. Because they averaged 20 points per game with Drew Lock.
Yeah, they can't score over 17 points a game. It's embarrassing. Truly embarrassing. Jerry Jeudy does get carted off the field. Still waiting on what that's going to be, some sort of ankle injury. But
Kendall Hinton gets involved in this game. The Dulcich does nothing.
Yeah, he dropped. Wilson missed him for a touchdown, overthrew him wide open. Russell Wilson.
Derek, this game was just kind of ugly. Remember last year when we were talking about Nick Westbrook-Ikhine?
Yeah, a flea flicker touchdown
2 times.
Flea flicker.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, good one. You suck it in with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry tosses that back out, and you're like, oh crap.
The Broncos traded for Chase Edmonds and then proceeded not to use him at all, but it's still early.
Yeah, usually when someone gets traded midweek, their first week, they're still just learning the playbook. And like, I don't take anything.
How complicated can it be when you're only scoring like 13 points a game?
You got a point there. I
just lost Zach.
I'm here. Dalton.
I'm pausing. And that was a break.
Yep, exactly. Internet break.
All right. My last point was, how complicated can the offense be for the Broncos if you're only scoring 10 points a game? I feel like you can use Chase Edmonds.
Yeah. You don't want any part of that backfield right now.
Or that Steelers in general. Steelers win one of those cold home games that they're supposed to.
They're not. The Saints. I want them to lose. Those games. I know, but I want them to lose. I want better draft capital. We've been good for so long. I want some good draft capital.
They're going to have a top 10 pick. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
The Fighting Andy Daltons could not get it done. He does have 2 interceptions on the day. Taysom Hill gets a throw, but that was incomplete.
Jameis Winston will start next week.
Kamara, did they just not have the ball at all, the Saints? Because the play.
No, Pittsburgh just ran it. They ran it like 30 times.
Juwan Johnson gets in the end zone. 20 carries for Najee Harris. He still can't get 100 yards. George Pickens
rushing touchdown.
Gets targeted, gets a rushing touchdown, steals it away from Najee Harris.
Pickett scores a rushing touchdown.
7 targets for Freiermuth. People attended this game.
Yeah, they did.
That's all I have to say.
They paid good money to come watch that game, and I hope it was worth it, everybody.
I saw another funny meme about the next game that we're going to talk about that said the NFL should just hire people off their couches and put them up against Josh McDaniels every week and see who wins. Jeff Sunday gets a win after making the decision to put Matt Ryan in. He said, screw this Sam Ehlinger experiment. We paid this dude. Let's put him out there.
Yeah, that's kind of a shitty situation. Like, apparently Frank Reich didn't want to bench Ryan, and Irsay wanted Ehlinger to play. And so Irsay forced him to play Ehlinger, and then they fire him
for playing Ehlinger.
And now they go to Saturday, and he brings back Matt Ryan, and they win. The best part of this is that Jeff Saturday, you saw that he tweeted like a week before getting hired, said the Raiders are just awful. And he comes out a week later, gets hired, no head coaching experience, and comes out and beats the Raiders. Like, crazy.
Devontae Adams has a nice day. Josh Jacobs has a nice day. Jonathan Taylor finally got involved. It's almost like Jeff Saturday said,
Hey, we're gonna run the fucking ball.
yeah, why aren't we using our talented players? Michael Pittman and Paris Campbell tie in targets and receptions. Campbell does get the touchdown.
Campbell is now playable again with Matt Ryan.
I think with Matt Ryan, you're gonna
everybody.
Pittman is good and
Campbell's
Pierce
good.
probably should be picked up, but only in good matchups should you use him.
Yeah.
That's it. I think this was a decent game just because of the emotions around it.
Yeah.
The battle of the backup quarterbacks, Colt McCoy versus John Walford.
Yeah, who would have thought of that, man?
The Rams, their season's over.
Yeah, this might be one of the worst Super Bowl hangovers I've ever seen. Like they're awful. Like they've been bad since the first night of the season. There's no surprise. And it's only Cooper Kupp. And now Cooper Kupp is hurt.
Yeah, ankle. We don't know the status on that yet.
High ankle sprain is what I've read. So they may just shut him down for the rest of the year. Like if you're that like bad, like why risk him? I bet I could see them shutting down Stafford and him, depending. Like Stafford was out with concussion. I don't know how that happened. I saw one meme because there was talks, Aaron Donald, McVay, all those guys kind of wanting to retire at the end of the season last year. Like now the question is, are they all going to retire on the same day or are they going to spread it out?
Higbee, 8 targets, 8 catches, 73 yards. You like that?
You like that? I think that is probably the player that you can probably play on the Rams going forward is probably Tyler Higbee. You might be able to sprinkle in some Allen Robinson now, but I mean, but I don't know how well that's going to be. It all depends on what they're going to do at quarterback. Are they going to they've paid Stafford? Like Stafford's going to be there for a few years. There's no reason to give these young guys that many reps. So maybe if Stafford is healthy, they're going to play him. But that running back room is a disaster. The wide receivers, I mean, they're okay. I mean, you may be able to play them. Allen Robinson, Van Jefferson did catch a touchdown. Maybe a bigger role for Ben Skowronek. But yeah, really weird. Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, Kyron Williams, Ronnie Rivers,
Bryce Perkins.
Bryce Perkins is the backup quarterback, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, Bryce Perkins. Yeah. Walford and then Bryce Perkins. So those are the quarterbacks that were active. But the running back room is a disaster.
James Conner gets in the end zone 2 times. I think he's finally fully healthy. They ran him 21 times.
Colt McCoy looked good.
Well, he always does.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys that's going to be a backup quarterback for a while. Like, he's good. Like, no doubt about it. Like, honestly, he looked better than Kyler Murray. Like, that's how bad it looked. Because Kyler Murray has been bad. Like, he's just force feeding one receiver, which was Hollywood Brown for the longest time, and then now Hopkins. And you'd sprinkle in a Rondell Moore or a Zach Ertz, stuff like that. But it just doesn't and Colt McCoy got it to Hopkins. He got it to AJ Green, Rondell Moore. He supported everybody. Whereas
I hate to jump on your hot take, but there was 27 targets to DeAndre Hopkins and Rondell Moore and 5 to everyone else.
But you're going to have your target hogs, but he's still they allowed him to throw it more. I guess Kyler wasn't. Kyler takes off and runs more rather than, giving everyone 5 targets. Those targets dissipate when Kyler just scrambles. And Colt McCoy's not that. So there's the big difference. Obviously, and that's
Jamarco Russell problems where he'll just put his head down and run forward instead of actually trying to make a play.
And that's another reason why Connor was probably so effective as well. Like he's not competing with the Kyler Murray rushing attempts as much. But we'll see how the Cardinals offense looks. They do lose Zach Ertz for the rest of the year, knee injury. So that's
they didn't specify, but he's done.
Yeah, I'm guessing they said his ACL was intact, but it sounds like one of the knee ligaments was torn. So I'm guessing MCL, a torn MCL. So
that sucks. He was tight end 3 before he got hurt.
Yeah, so that's a bummer. He's been pretty consistent all year long.
He'll
just to
probably
get
still finish the year as a top 10 tight end.
yeah,
He's
maybe
second.
yeah.
He's
Top,
second in receptions behind Travis Kelsey.
yeah, that's a bummer for them. But supposedly, and they should be getting Hollywood Brown back in the next week or two. So that was the report that they should be getting him back. So that'll help the Cardinals offense as well.
The Niners beat up the Chargers on Sunday night. Apparently, the pass rush just was way too much for the Chargers to handle. This was supposed to be the Chargers' big breakout year. They're still middling like they always are.
Yeah, they're hurt, man. We say it every year. The Chargers, it's it's their year, but they always get hurt every year, and it's hard.
We had a McKitty sighting.
Trey McKitty.
Austin Eckler was bottled up. Maybe that was their whole game plan there. Just like, hey, if you see Austin Eckler, just chip him immediately.
Mm-hmm.
They worked Elijah Mitchell in his first game. I think this was his first game back.
It was first game off IR. He's been out since week 1. So they definitely let him heal as long as possible from that broken ankle or something. I can't remember what it was. No, it was a knee. It was an MCL.
Ayuk has a nice day.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really weird to see kind of how the touches line out for McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell. I mean, obviously McCaffrey's more dynamic, but Mitchell has been a part of the offense, so they're both going to get touches. Mitchell's going to get touches more inside the tackles, and McCaffrey does squeak in and get a touchdown. I did see a stat. Jimmy G has the best record in the NFL without throwing touchdown passes. He's 10-2 without throwing a touchdown pass.
That's weird.
That's insane. Like, and they're all with the Niners. Like, because he's so effective. I mean, and you kind of see how things, you get tackled at, the 5-yard line on a deep pass. And so it doesn't quite reflect in there. And then obviously the running backs just pound it in, or Jimmy G runs one in too. I mean, Jimmy ran one in, but he didn't throw one. So they're good. I mean, they're making a push for it. All they have to compete with in that division is Seattle. Nothing that, which should be fun. Obviously, the Rams are out of it. I don't think the Cardinals can make that big of a push. They may, but I think it's a 2-horse race in that division, and that's the Niners and the Seahawks.
Speaking of the Seahawks, the first game ever played in Germany at Bayern Munich Alliance Stadium. Apparently there were 3 million ticket requests for this game. It was completely sold out. Apparently the atmosphere was just insane, but I think that it was just the German football fans showing out. But everyone had jerseys on. That was wild. They must actually watch the NFL in Germany.
Yeah, I mean, people love the NFL worldwide. Obviously not as much probably overseas, but I mean, there's still football fans out there. And it's kind of like, if there's an international sport event here, like when the World Cup comes here in 2026, like there's going to be flocks of people in the US going to these games, and they're not as big as soccer fans as maybe, overseas people are. It's the same thing. But I mean, what doesn't happen very often if you go outside the country, it's going to be packed, and it's all about money, obviously. And they're going to be able to bring in that revenue in other countries. They go to London 3 times a year or 2 times a year.
I think it was 3 this year. I don't know.
I can't remember. I believe it's 4 international games this year. I believe it. They have 2 in London, 1 in Germany, 1 in Mexico City.
Are the Bills playing in Toronto this year?
No. Not that I know of.
I know Ralph Wilson, that was his thing because he is from there.
The biggest story of this game is no one heard about this until the freaking game time. So Rachaad White got the start over Leonard Fournette solely due to apparently Leonard Fournette had a passport issue that no one freaking knew about. And so Leonard Fournette didn't get there till Saturday, I guess. So Rachaad White got the start, got the first touches, and then Fournette came in and he kind of took over duties for a little bit. Leonard Fournette threw a pass to Tom Brady, which was awful, and Tom Brady fell down, and Leonard Fournette threw a pick. If you haven't
So
seen the clip, go watch it. It's pretty
that
hilarious.
that play was actually set up the play
Perfectly.
before.
Yeah, they did.
So
Yeah.
So the play before, they motioned Brady out and no one covered him, and they ran a
Hmm.
wildcat. So they said, okay, let's just run the same
Yeah.
formation out immediately right afterward, assuming that no one was going to cover him, and then
Come
someone
on.
did.
Come on, Byron Leftwich. Like, the NFL, like, they're going to see it again. They're going to shade coverage. Like, you don't need to cover Brady one-on-one. You can shade coverage. That rookie DB is faster than Tom Brady. He can close, and that's what happened. And he throws a pick. Leonard Fournette does get hurt. He suffers a hip pointer. Rashad
Fire
White
up
comes
your
back
Rashad
in.
White.
Yeah, fire Rashad White till he gets back. But the Buccaneers are on a bye next week, so they did say there's a good chance Leonard Fournette is back after the bye week. Just got to monitor that for your Lenny Fournette shares and your Rashad White shares. Something to watch down the stretch.
The Seahawks didn't show up till the second half,
Yep.
and once they did, Metcalf muscled some people out of the way. Oh, Rashad White actually had a pretty nasty stiff arm. I did watch a bit of that game, and he just shoved the dude right out of the way.
Yeah. Ken Walker bottled up as well, but he does get through the air, 6 catches, I believe. But Lockett catches the touchdown. Marquise Goodwin catches the other touchdown from Geno. They make it closer at the end, but Tampa Bay now leading the NFC South
Tom
at
Brady's
5
2
and
0
5.
since getting a divorce. All right. Matchups that mattered.
Wow.
I hang on to beat Patrick to stay alive in the playoffs. I don't change, but I stay in the 8th position. Pat is not eliminated just based on how this season has been going.
Mhm.
Basically, it was CeeDee Lamb, Jeff Wilson, and Devontae Adams saved my day.
Correct. And Pat had a decent outing. He has the Justin Fields, the Dalvin Cook, the Donta Foreman. He just had some bye week issues. No T Higgins, no Ramondre Stevenson, and just kind of lackluster across, from his receivers, DJ Moore, Jalen Waddle. It happens. So
Stuart Brinkman falls victim to Christopher Lean. Lean 132 points. Justin Jefferson, Paris Campbell, Terry McLaurin. That's all you need.
yeah, bad day for Brinkman. Just subpar across the board. I believe no touchdowns for Brinkman's team, and that the only touchdown he has is the one Josh Allen touchdown pass. Otherwise, quiet from everybody else.
It's hard to win when you don't score touchdowns.
Correct. That is very true. Very, very, very true. Brinkman drops to 7-3. Lean peaks up to 3-7.
Drew moves on to a 3-week winning streak, taking out Heath.
So Heath drops to 5-5, 500, and Drew gets to 6-4. Yeah, Drew's doing well. Drew's doing well.
He's figuring it out. He's putting the pieces together. He doesn't have Zach Moss on his team, or does he?
He does not.
Okay, see, he's putting the pieces together. One of the more heartbreaking games of Zach's fantasy career. Go ahead.
Yeah, going against Sackett, the Hatgate Bowl. Tough matchup. I knew it was going to be tough. And he did not have his Joe Burrow, shares this week. He does swap in Tony Pollard early in the afternoon. Right before the game lock, there was rumors that Zeke wasn't going to play. He rolled the dice because he benched Cortland Sutton because Sutton played in the early game. He plays Pollard, gets a nice game from Pollard. That was pretty much the downturn at that point. And then the big game from Dalton Schultz. I thought I had a pretty good shot after the morning games. Christian Kirk has a nice day. Travis Kelce, good day. Peoples Jones, a good day. And then going into the Sunday night game, I was feeling pretty confident. I had CMC and AJ Brown left compared to Jimmy G and Debo. And after that game, I was only down 4.08, and I felt extremely confident. I 99% confident. Thought the only way I lose is if AJ Brown gets hurt. And I don't know if he got hurt. I think that they just shut him down. I like I said, wasn't worried at all. AJ Brown hadn't scored less than 7 points all year. He only needed most likely 2 catches to get that yardage. And he's been so dominant. I assumed at least a 5 for 50 day. But I catch the end of the game and I checked the score and he's got 1 for 7. And that is all she wrote. 1.7 points for AJ Brown. Heartbreaker for me. I lose by 2.4, 2.38, something like that. So tough game. I drop 2 games in a row now. Dropped to 6-4. Sackett gets his 7th win in a row, which ties the record for the season. One more win, and he gets the highest win streak of the year. Luke started 7-0, and we'll get to that game. But yeah, tough break for me. Sackett, little forecast. He is the only undefeated team now in outer division play. Sackett and I were both the undefeated teams in the last couple of weeks, but Sackett is still carrying that name. So good win for him. Tough break for me. It happens.
Cole's very bad.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cole's very bad team. Stays in the playoff hunt, squeaks one out against Blaster.
Blaster almost
really needed it.
Blaster almost had the comeback. He had the Antonio Gibson, Dallas Goedert folks going last night. Just doesn't quite get there just yet. Little over 4 points shy. The Cooper Kupp injury and then the John Wolford playing. Yeah. More of Cooper Kupp because Cooper Kupp doesn't usually score less than 3 points. So that's a tough break for him. But Cole gets the win, moves him to 5-5, keeps him in the hunt. And then we have another 3-7 team. So the bottom of the league, I believe, are all 3-7. So pretty even up at the bottom.
Yeah, that would be Garrett Brinkman. The other 3-7 team knocks off Luke. Luke has now lost 3 games in a row.
After starting 7-0, and it's make or break next week for the matchup with Luke. But yeah,
anything to talk about on that matchup?
Dark Horse just got great games from Mostert. Jonathan Taylor finally comes back. Godwin has a nice game. Cole Kmet catches the 2 touchdowns. James Conner comes back.
He just had all the touchdowns.
And Luke had 1 touchdown he had a couple touchdowns. Like he had a nice game from Aaron Jones, Saquon Barkley, and George Pickens, but everybody else just kind of shat the bed a little bit.
Moving on to next week's preview, Dark Horse has some very serious bye week issues going up against Heath. Honestly, it would be very shocking if Heath loses next week.
But I mean, Dark Horse also gets back Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, Rondale. He's got Rondale Moore. Like he'll piece it together. But yeah, that'll be an interesting game. Like I said, all 4, the 9 through 12 seed are all 3-7. So Dark Horse, Lean, Patrick, and who's the other one? And Blaster. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Gridlocked in the bottom.
Speaking of, we have a bottom matchup. I think this matchup, because of where we're at in the season, will be if you lose this one, you are eliminated.
Correct.
Because of tiebreakers. It is Lean taking on Blaster, winner. Loser
out. Loser out, basically. Because we've always said in the past, like if you can make it, if you can be 7-7, 500 record, you're going to be in the playoffs. Like that's just usually how it goes. Since there are 8 teams, so this is essentially a loser out situation. Blaster is going to look a little tight. No Mike Evans, no Cooper Kupp, no Jerry Jeudy. That's a tough break for Blaster right there. Lose 3 of his receivers in 1 week. Tough.
Another team with bye week issues that I'm sure they'll piece together is Drew taking on Cole's bad team. So there's that.
Man, you take all the digs at Cole. I take all the digs at Lean.
Yeah. You are in another tough game
I know. I
against your
back to back
brother this
back
week.
to back toughies, man. I have Sackett and then I have Luke. And that's tough. I mean, Luke's trying to get off the snide. He's lost 3 in a row. I've lost 2 in a row. Um, yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. I don't have my Jaguars. No Christian Kirk, no Travis Etienne. So I am gonna have to piece together some space right now. Um, yeah, tough one. I'll figure it out. I'll keep grinding. Um, we're both sitting okay. But it's nice to be at the top of your division. So
Pat needs a win against the streaking Cody Sackett's.
uh, Sackett's got somebody. I mean, he's got a couple of his best players on bye: Lenny
Yep.
Fournette, Tyreek Hill, and he's got Rashad White. He's got the cuff. So he's safe either way. Jamar Chase, I still don't believe is going to play. So he's going to have to still piece together that team. Pat, he's doing okay. He's no Waddle. He'll figure it out. Pat's one of the guys that like he's resilient. He's gonna make moves. He's gonna hit the wire. He's gonna find the best plays that he can play. He just had a tough break this year. I believe he's got the highest points against, and he's pretty average, middle of the pack in scoring. Um, so it's tough for him. That's sometimes how it goes. Let me double check that, but I'm pretty sure I believe the case. He's got by far the highest points against 1409. Like that's and he's got 1302, so more than Dark Horse, more than Blaster,
More
just
than me.
more than you, more than Heath by 100 points, more than Lean. He's got more 2 less points than Luke. So like he's got the points, he's got the roster. Just everyone is putting up high totals against Patrick. I know a lot of people and we've never done this. The last place team in the playoffs is the highest points. That's not in the playoffs. So like I believe Pat is like in the top 8 in points, obviously. Um, but with 8 teams getting in, like records do matter. I know no one's really batted an eye about missing the playoffs with points. But yeah, Patrick's doing fine.
What are you talking about right now? Like other
other
leagues
leagues
will do points.
Yep. So like the last team in the playoffs, so like your 8 seed or whatever seed is the highest points between, so like so in our league, so the top 7 records we get in, and then of those other 5 teams, who's ever got the highest points gets in. Mm-hmm. So you reward still a good team, and you don't take in consideration the tough record, the points against. So
I run into another Goliath. This week it will be me versus Stuart Brinkman. He needs the win to stay near the top of the league, and I need the win to stave off all those 3-7 teams.
Yeah, the 5-5 teams need to keep going, because that they go to, if you lose and go to 5-6 and they get to 4-7, they're only 1 game behind you, and things can get a little crazy with tiebreakers.
Yep. All right.
That's it.
We now move on to the bets portion of the show.
Yeah, a recap of last week. I go 3-1 this week. I desperately needed a win after getting swept by Dalton last week. I did get my lock of the week, Vikings plus 7.5. I had Tennessee -2 and the Giants -6.5. Dalton did get the Kansas City 9.5 point spread. They do win by 10. Running total, Dalton 17, myself 14. Pretty close.
I believe it is your week.
Correct. I am pulling it up. Who would your lock of the week be, since it is your pick first?
Let me look at this.
Yeah.
Some decently large spreads in this one. Give me. I will take. Where was it? I'll take the Bills minus 8.5.
Ah, damn, that's what I wanted. Nice. Good pick. Good pick. All right. You got Bills minus 8. That's a sneaky pick. Good for you.
They're not
Let's
going to
see.
lose 2 weeks in a row. So,
Yeah,
it is in Buffalo though,
it
so that could
isn't.
be cold. But we'll see.
Give me Kansas City minus 6.5. Oh wait, then they got so never mind. There it is. It said minus 6.5 against the Atlanta, and then it changed real fast. They had the Atlanta logo on it. Never mind. I don't want that.
Yeah, the Chiefs are playing the Chargers minus 7.
Yeah, I have 6.5.
Okay.
I do not want that one. Um, let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna hate myself, but I'm going against the Raiders. Give me Denver minus 2.5.
Denver minus 2.5.
Yep, against the Raiders at home.
Okay. What do you got? What's the first bet?
All right.
I see one that you're probably going to target.
Yep, I'm gonna make you pick them. Dallas, Minnesota. Dallas minus 1 point favorite. 1 point favorite on the road.
You know, that is really tough. Basically it's a if you win it.
Yeah, take your boys.
That is so tough. It's going to be indoors, so that helps.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it'll be a track meet.
Yeah, give me the Cowboys.
Okay. I'll take Minnesota +1. All right, here.
I don't like that, but that is so tough. What a great line.
All right, the next one will be my pick. I will take. No, I'm not gonna do that one. I'll save that for the last pick. Let's go. In this gross matchup. Let's go gross here. This I get a pick, don't I? I don't know if I want that, but I'll do. I know. I'll take it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take the bounce back. I will take the Rams +3.5 against the Saints.
That is so gross.
I know that's a gross line.
I hate that one.
Fine, I'll do a different one. I'll do a different one. That's fine.
I don't care.
Okay, I'll do a different one.
Okay.
All right, this one is a lot more. It's a lot more fun. Colts 6.5 point favorites at home. I am gonna say Philly gets back on the snide, and I'll take minus 6.5.
Oh, so you read that wrong, but I understand what you meant.
Yep, I'm taking. I was just reading who's favored. So I'll take Philly minus 6.5 against the Colts.
Okay. You said that the Colts were favorite.
Oh,
first,
sorry.
So
Yeah, sorry. Colts.
Okay, give me the Colts.
Okay. And then the most fun one, because I'm good either way on this side. Your choice. The Falcons are 3.5 point favorites at home against the Bears with an under over of 50.5.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. So your choice.
It'll be indoors.
It'll be indoors. It'll be in Atlanta. So Atlanta's 3.5 point favorites at home.
Hold on. Let me. Oh wait, that's what I was just looking for. The Bears are so hot right now. Give me the Bears.
Bears plus 3.5K. I'll take Atlanta minus 3.5.
That is a really good line as well.
That's a fun one. All right, so we got the Bears, Falcons, Colts, Eagles, and Minnesota,
Cowboys,
Dallas.
Vikings.
Okay.
I'm sure the Vikings are going to win that one just because I took Dallas. But
I
mean,
with that close to the spread, like I wanted that to be the lock of the week, but I knew I could probably get it because I know you'd take probably the boys.
yeah, I just had to. All right. That is it for your Tuesday morning viewing pleasure. Next week will be probably a different time as well.
Yep.
We haven't quite discussed that, but we will let you guys know.
Perfect. Good luck, everybody.
This is the end.